Hello children, lovely to see you today, and I'm sorry I can't be with you in person, but I'm doing it again via Zoom. So I'd like to start by saying, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Now today I am again going to be sharing something with you, and it's to help us today think about something important. And just as we're looking at the candle, it's nice to have a moment just to sort of think about all the things we might be doing this week. Think about your friends, think about all the work you might be doing, think about the fact you're probably still feeling excited about being back together again after such a long time. Some of you might like to just close your eyes as you have a quiet moment just to think to yourself. Now today's collective worship is linked actually to our jigsaw theme, and we've been thinking about staying healthy, thinking healthily, keeping healthy this half term. And the theme for this week is to know how to keep yourself and others safe. And this week, we're actually thinking about looking after people's well-being, keeping calm and overcoming fears of anger. Now, you might be looking at the screen and thinking, well, what's that got to do with Blossom, the cat? That's because we're going to use a story today to help us understand a little bit more about how we can overcome those feelings of anger, but also stay calm at the same time. So this is Blossom. Blossom looks like a beautiful cat, and Blossom lived with Pam and Jerry. She had a big fluffy cushion in the living room for when she fancied a sleep, and a cat flap in the back door for when she fancied a walk around the garden. She had 2 bowls in the kitchen, one was for water and one was for food. So all in all, Blossom was a very happy cat. Then, one day, she came in from the garden and she saw a wire cage in the living room. It wasn't the wire cage that startled her. It was what was inside. Can you guess what it might have been? Have a little think, put your hand up and tell the grown-up in your class, what do you think might have been in that cage? I hope you all had a good guess. Let's find out. Yes, if those of you guessed it right, it was a tiny, fluffy, white and orange kitten, and it was crouching at the back, looking very, very scared indeed. Do you think Blossom was happy to find a little fluffy kitten in her living room? No, she was not. It was quite the opposite, in fact. Blossom was very annoyed. She became a very angry cat. In fact, she was so angry that she pushed her tail up in the air and stomped off into the garden. She hissed at the flowers just because they were there. Then, because anger is such a tiring feeling, she lay down beside the shed and fell fast asleep. When she woke up, the kitten was still there, so Blossom started feeling angry all over again. She was so angry that she scratched Pam and Jerry when they tried to stroke her. She sharpened her claws on the sofa. She was so angry that she refused to eat the tin of cat food that Jerry had opened for her. Then, because anger can be quite a tiring feeling, she lay down and fell asleep again. When she woke up, the kitten was still there, so she growled and hissed at it. The kitten looked at her with big, frightened eyes and made little meowing noises, but Blossom didn't care. She just prowled around the cage and looked as mean and as big as she could. Then, because anger can be quite a tiring feeling, she lay down and fell asleep again. When she woke up, it was still there, so she just lay there, and when she looked up, she just looked at the kitten with sulky, angry eyes. How do you think that made the little kitten feel? I wonder whether you might like to share that with the grown-up in your room. Poor little kitten was so scared, so frightened, and actually, believe it or not, Blossom started to realise that the kitten must be feeling really frightened. She suddenly remembered she used to be a kitten once and actually probably felt just the same looking at another cat or something bigger than her. This gave Blossom lots to think about. She stopped feeling hot and angry and annoyed and actually started feeling sorry for the little kitten in the wire cage. So she calmed down and started to think about all the things she could show the kitten, because she was actually the boss cat in the house and the kitten had plenty to learn. She lifted up a soft paw towards the cage and made a kind, soothing sound and waited for Pam to come home so she and the kitten could get on with the pleasant task of actually making friends. And there you can see Blossom, who has now made friends with the tiny little kitten. And sometimes that's what we all need to do. We need to stop what we're doing. We need to take time to think and then actually do something about what's making us feel really angry. Now, you know, at school, we ask you to think about stop, walk, and talk. But there's some questions now that I'd like you to have a think about. Let's just go and have a look at these. So have a little think to yourself, why was Blossom so angry, do you think? Maybe you might like to talk about that with the grown-up in your class. What made Blossom so angry? And then, how did being angry make her feel? There was a clue in the story, wasn't there? Something perhaps that makes us all feel when we're angry. We may like to go and just close our eyes for 5 minutes. Find a quiet space and calm down. Did being angry do her any good? Did it make her feel any better, do you think? And did her anger actually make the kitten go away. Did Blossom feel better once she had calmed down? Now, can you perhaps think, why did she feel better? What did she do that made her feel better? Now, the grown-ups in your class might like to talk about this a bit more with you, but I'd like to ask you this. What do you do to calm down? We've talked a lot about this at school over the years, but some of our reception and year 1 children might not have had as many opportunities to think about it. But sometimes we really need to think about how we calm ourselves down. Sometimes when we feel really, really angry, we can get hot and bothered. And when we're angry, we can say and do things that are really hurtful. And I know that some of you regret it when you've said or done something unkind to other children or to somebody in your family. If we do that, if we're unkind or hurtful, we should always say sorry, because actually we know that that makes somebody much happier. And it's much better to stay friends with somebody and to look after one another and show that we care. Now, I'd like to finish our collective worship today with a short prayer. You might like to put your hands together, or you just close your eyes and listen. Dear God, help me to make my heart be like a lake, with a calm, still surface and great depths of kindness underneath. Help us all to be kind, calm, joyful, humble, and thankful. Amen. Now, just before I say goodbye, I'd like us all together to take a really deep breath. Deep breath in. And breathe out. Deep breath in. And breathe out. Sometimes that's all it takes to help us calm down. So the next time you feel really cross or angry about something, think about how you can help yourself and sometimes others to calm down. Thank you for listening, children. We're going to finish by saying, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Thank you for listening again today, children. I expect I will see you later. If I don't see you later, I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for listening, children. Bye-bye.